Once upon a time, in an ancient kingdom, there reigned a king with an insatiable passion for hunting. Every few days, he ventured into the wilderness with his kinsmen. On one such day, as the king and his entourage set out on their hunting expedition, they encountered a villager collecting firewood in the jungle. Intrigued, the man stopped by the roadside to observe the horsemen and the king. This woodcutter, clad in tattered, weather-worn garments, possessed a countenance that bore the marks of toil. His hair was unkempt, and his appearance lacked the luster of beauty. Nonetheless, he found solace in gazing upon the king's riders and companions. As the king and his companions drew near to this slender and solemn figure, the minister, in a sudden outburst, admonished the man.
"Hasten away from here and avert your gaze from us."
Perplexed, the king inquired of his minister.
Why bid him depart? His observation poses no harm to us.
The minister retorted,
Ugliness serves as an omen of misfortune, a mark of inadequacy. Beholding unsightliness and unattractive visages unsettles the heart, inviting ill fate.
These unwise words fell upon the woodcutter's ears, shattering his spirit. He departed, carrying with him the weight of the minister's callous judgment. Though disheartened by the minister's assessment of his appearance, the woodcutter, blessed with a pure heart and keen intellect, resolved,
I must counter this haughty minister, for it is evident that he is a charlatan, weaving a tapestry of falsehoods. His knowledge is but a facade, akin to the idle prattle of soothsayers. Through this web of empty rhetoric, he has secured a place for himself in the Shah's court.
The woodcutter, burdened with his load of firewood, returned home and recounted his encounter to his brother. His brother, intrigued by the tale, concurred, remarking,
Indeed, what you propose is that he fancies himself an occultist. Some of the elders, and even the king, are susceptible to superstitions, falling prey to such charlatans. They cling to the belief that past accidental accuracies grant them insight. Yet, practices like fortune-telling, astrology, and spellcraft are mere artifices, devoid of scientific foundation. Most of these soothsayers, professing knowledge of the occult and problem-solving, lead lives more wretched and destitute than most. If they truly grasped the mysteries of the unseen, they would first mend their own circumstances. Given the circumstance, you ought to expose this charlatan before the king, offering a rebuttal, at the very least.
Indeed, you speak the truth.
agreed the woodcutter.
I bear no sin in fearing anyone. I shall go forth, and upon the king's return from the forest, I will stand in his path, utter a few words, and unveil the minister's deceit.
The woodcutter put on cleaner clothes and took a white piece of paper, drawing both crooked and straight lines upon it. He then positioned himself on the same road he had stood in earlier that morning. Upon the return of the king and his companions, the woodcutter approached them, holding out the paper as if presenting a ladder. As the horsemen neared, the enigmatic minister attempted to intervene, but the king, noticing the paper in the old man's hand, halted and stated,
Retrieve his letter and let me see his request.
Everyone came to a halt. The elderly man handed over the paper and remained in place. When they unfolded it, they discovered that it bore no writing, only a few unfamiliar lines. The king inquired of the minister,
What is his purpose?
The minister asserted,
Clearly, if he has any grievance or matter to address, he must be a deranged individual. He has written nothing, and these lines provide no discernible meaning.
The king remarked,
There may be a purpose to this.
and beckoned the woodcutter closer, inquiring,
What is it you seek, woodcutter?
May the king be in good health.
The woodcutter began.
I am a diligent worker, making my living as a woodcutter. I don't burden anyone with my grievances, nor do I rely on others for my sustenance. I toil and provide for myself. I brought this paper with the intention of seeking an audience with you, as I have a few inquiries that would enrich my understanding and manners."
The king glanced towards the enigmatic minister, who retorted.
He still seems mad.
Undeterred, the woodcutter continued.
Unjustly accusing and condemning someone without cause is a simple matter, though not a noble one. If you entertain my queries and respond, it will demonstrate my sanity. I seek answers from the king, not others. May I proceed?
Ask whatever you wish.
The king granted. The woodcutter inquired.
I am curious to know, how was the forest and hunting today? Did it fare well?
It went exceptionally well.
The king affirmed.
We had a fruitful hunt, just as we had hoped.
The woodcutter pursued.
Did the king and his companions find contentment in the day's endeavors?
Yes, everything went according to plan.
The king confirmed. The woodcutter pressed on.
Did you receive any ill tidings or unfortunate news from any quarter?
I have heard naught but favorable and commendable tidings.
The king replied. The woodcutter inquired further.
Did any of the companions sustain injury or encounter mishap in the forest?
No,
The king assured.
all are safe and sound. None were harmed.
The woodcutter continued.
Did you not encounter any fresh sorrow or distress today?
The king, taken aback by the thoroughness of the questioning, responded.
No. No sorrow has reached our ears. Our days grow happier. What is the meaning behind these inquiries?
I am prompted to ask, why did you shun me earlier and forbid me from observing you?
Queried the woodcutter. The secretive minister interjected.
You are indeed a stubborn, impudent, and loquacious man. As the saying goes, outer unseemliness is often a reflection of inner vices and character. I sent you away to safeguard our joy, for encounters with unsightly individuals bode ill.
That concludes my queries.
The woodcutter declared.
If, as the minister contends, one's visit can influence another, then today my presence was propitious for you, as you all enjoyed a fine day. However, your encounter was disheartening for me, as you cast me aside, leaving me dispirited and melancholy since morning. I implore you to be just. Was my presence more detrimental to you than yours was to me? Does this not illuminate the baselessness of the minister's gossip about the impact of mingling with both the unsightly and the comely?
Upon hearing this, the king acknowledged that the woodcutter was speaking the truth. The woodcutter then extolled the king's sense of justice. He went on to explain.
I undertook this to put an end to the deceitful claims of the backstabbing minister. I wanted him to understand that a person's true character is not reflected in their outward appearance or attire. Instead, it is manifested through their actions and words, whether beautiful or ugly, which serve as a true reflection of their inner self.
In response, the king praised the woodcutter and bestowed upon him a fitting and valuable reward, ensuring that their encounter left both parties content. From that day forward, no one observed the secretive and mendacious minister in the company of the king. In a world where appearances can be deceiving, it's crucial not to judge others solely based on their outward looks. True understanding goes beyond what meets the eye. People are much more than their external appearance. They have unique stories, experiences, and qualities that cannot be captured by a mere glance. By refraining from snap judgments and taking the time to delve deeper, we open ourselves up to a world of diversity and richness. Embracing empathy and reserving judgment allows us to appreciate the depth and complexity of individuals, fostering genuine connections and a more inclusive society.